I am so excited to stand here today. Women's History Month, the folk we have gathered here, it means a lot to me. I am one that believes in women power. My mother, my grandmother was the matriarch of my family. She was tiny, but powerful. And I believe that when we look at this generation, we look at the things we're trying to create together, it's powerful. When you look at this room, there's beauty, there's experience, there is fortitude, and I am grateful to stand here before you. When I think about women in craft and then women in trade, I'm so proud of our group. They are 24% of our population. They are the heart of our company. When we think about where we're going in the future, they make us stronger. And again, this is about our future. So let's relax. Let's have a nice hour together. And our values moment is going to be by Valerie Gutierrez. No, I skipped something.
You're good to go. You want to take this with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Did I mess you up?
A little bit.
They gotta watch me.
It's okay.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hey, thank you everyone. My name is Raven Simmons. I am a senior talent specialist here at JEA. I'm also the individual that heads up our internship program for high school, colleges, and university. That was David Emanuel, our Chief Human Resource Officer, as well as the executive sponsor for Women in Trades. Our event today is being brought to you by Women in Trade. You're going to hear all about these ladies here today and the work that they've done. I'm sorry, lady and our male allies, and the work that they've done here at JEA. All right, so in true JEA fashion, safety is top first and foremost in everything that we do as we go about our day-to-day activities. Our next speaker, when we initially started talking a little bit about the Women's History Month breakfast, we spoke to Kurt Wilson and we said, Kurt, so let's talk about who we should invite. And the first name that he came out of his mouth and suggested was Valerie Gutierrez. So Valerie has been involved very much behind the scenes, but she's gonna talk to you all today about, or give you the safety briefing. Just a little bit about Valerie though. So Valerie is a system protection and controls technician 2. She's been at JEA for 26 and a half years. Valerie is a U.S. Navy vet. Thank you for your service. She's also the first female business manager for IBEW 2358 and served in that position for 7 years. During the time that Valerie has been here, not only during the time that she served as in that position with IBEW, but just in general, she has been an advocate in ensuring that the voices are heard when things are expressed to her related to anything going on here at JEA. So Valerie, I will turn the mic over to you for our safety briefing.
All right, good morning everybody. Before I do the safety briefing, I just want to do a little quick story. My daughter plays soccer, and so every time I would go to the game, I'm the crazy mother in the stadium or in the fan stands, and I'm yelling out there, "Girl power! Girl power!" So just me being here today and seeing all the women that are out here in this audience, I want to say women power. So I appreciate it. You guys are amazing, just like you said, David. We got a lot of strong women in this company. So with that being said, let me do my safety briefing. All right. So good morning. In the event of an emergency that requires evacuation, the exits are, I got one behind me. If you go through that door and the second door, hang a left, it'll take you out. And also the doors that you came through this morning. So, and what we'll do is we'll meet out in this grassy area. And so make sure you take note of who's to the right and to the left of you. So when we get there, we can make sure everybody's accounted for. Can I please get a volunteer to call 911? All right, I see Mr. Security back there. And hopefully, since we do have security also on the premises, you know, I'm sure he'll be able to call the 8200 or 665-8200 number for security if we need them. Our address here is 225 North Pearl Street. Do we have anyone first aid or CPR qualified? I just got my recertification, so you should all be good. The nearest fire extinguishers and AEDs are located outside that door near security. So please take note of any hazards that may be in the room, especially all the chairs and cameras and all that, if we have to evacuate. So thank you and have a great Women's History Month. Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Valerie. So next up, we have our values moment. That's going to be brought to us by Florence Bent. We lovingly call her Flo. So Flo started her career here at JEA 21 years ago in the meter reading department as a temporary employee. From there, Flo transitioned to a full-time and permanent position as a meter specialist trainee. In 2012, she advanced to a meter specialist, and in her current department, which is service risk, she serves as the utility field investigator. Flo holds the role as being the Vice President of Women in Trade. She is also the treasurer for IBEW 2358. So Flo, would you like to come up and provide the values moment, your values moment?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me here. Thanks for having everyone here. I would like to talk briefly this morning about respect, which is a powerful word for me, and should be a powerful word for everyone. Respect. Respect is earned, not given. Throughout my career in the male-dominant electric industry, I had to prove myself over and over and over who I am and what I'm capable of. I sure to share my journey with other women in hopes to inspire them to do their best. After all these years, my coworker comes to me for advice and guidance on what is during difficult time and difficult situation. I would like to think that they came to me because of my honesty, my integrity, and being truthful in what I say. Most of all, we have to treat each other the way we want to be treated. Working for JEA, respect. We earn respect, we give respect. It's a beautiful place to work, we get respect. Please respect each other. Remember each other, that's the key word to what we're here for today. Respect. Thank you.
You all will see me a couple of times. I'll pop up and sit down and pop up and sit down. So, you know, one thing I was thinking about, Raven, what do you all really want, what do you want to say in this moment? And I am a reader of various literary genres. One book that I just finished reading was by the late Coretta Scott King. And she is noted as saying, the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate action of its members. And so this morning, I hope as you continue to listen to us, that you hear, you see, and you feel the compassion that we walk, we live by, and we try to exude every day. Next up, we have Miss Jackie Shield. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Jackie Shield. I can't tell you everything because she's been such an amazing part of our time here at JEA. So, Miss Jackie, I have your notes here. Miss Jackie is the Director of Water, Wastewater Reuse and Delivery Collection, is the Director of Water, Wastewater Reuse and Delivery. She is also a U.S. Army vet, so thank you as well for your service. Miss Jackie joined the Mayor's Summer Program her 11th and 12th grade year of high school, and as you can see, that was maybe 5 years ago. When she walked up, it was only 5 years ago, right? She started her career in utilities with the public utilities under City of Jacksonville in, I'm supposed to say the 90s, but I'm gonna say 4 years ago, okay? Just remember it was only 5, all right? When there was the merger between JEA and the City of Jacksonville, she's been with us since, and she's served in several business units on the electric and the water side. In addition to being the director, she's also the sponsor of the Women Hysteria team with you all, which she's going to talk a little bit about today. And just has been huge in our everyday community actions. Miss Jackie, we can call you at any time, and she is there for Generation Wow, ambassador events. She's been ambassador of the month, volunteering in our community, and again, we can go so far with the description of the amazing things that Miss Jackie does, but I really don't want to go beyond her 5 years, okay? So Miss Jackie, it's all for you.
Thank you, Ms. Raven, and we cannot do what we do without you. I know Raven did make a comment about her work with co-op and summer work programs that we have with the mayor's office, and also too we have some high school programs to where we have a pipeline out there at First Coast News, which Women in Trades was huge in getting set up along with our HR department with Ms. Pat and our technical team. So we do thank you for what you do. You bring both high school women out there into our field environment and college into our field environment. So thank you for what you do for us to support us. And I am here to talk about it. I'm gonna try not, I may get a little teared up at the end whenever I go to talk about it. Been in the industry since 1990. A lot has changed. Actually went out into the field in the 90s out there on Pearl Street. And over the years, you know, JEA employees are very highly trained, highly skilled folks. They're good at what they do. They love what they do. They support the community, and they're diligent and dedicated to it. We participate through our leadership that supports that heavily into the organizations that represent the businesses that we do, whether it's electric, water, or wastewater. And we go to conferences and we go to expositions, and not only does it give us the opportunity to learn about new technologies and skills, because if we can find anything to unstop that sewer line, I will take it, you know. We also too provides us networking and competitions. Like I said, we're very dedicated employees, which means we work hard, which means we like to play even harder, and which means we like to brag and, you know, and highlight and showcase what we do. And quite frankly, we are the best at what we do. So between, you know, recently the electric team, FMEA, did the Blackman's Rodeo. We have a wastewater, and we also too have water. And American Water Works Association, as women were getting more into the trades, actually created a women's division. But, you know, here at JEA, quite frankly, what we do in our area, where everything pipes underground. So we not only is it hot, dirty, deep, we also too climb in manholes full of roaches and rats. And we don't have too many women that like to do that. Between water and wastewater treatment, we do have women spread all out, but really not enough to really make a team. So our men's teams, we go and we have the ductile iron tapping, and then they introduce a couple of other competitions, fire hydrant. And when they started doing the fire hydrant team, I'm like, man, you know, sorry. I'm like, man, you know, I'll step back. I'm like, you know, man, you know, hey, that might be something that we can do, because again, we do have craft apprenticeship programs, which teaches our folks to do all of these skilled tasks. And again, to get a whole women's team in order to do that, we just did not have it. Ms. Chris and David, along with the rest of the ladies, Flo and Dina, we started the Women in Trades. I'm like, there's an opportunity that maybe throughout all of JEA, this is more like throughout all of JEA, in our craft positions, maybe we can get enough of women involved that want to do this. Because not only is it the work itself, it's also the time away from your family, because just like if you want to be proficient, soccer, you have to practice, which means they have to go, they're going to miss a few things. I might have to say, no, I can't go to dinner tonight, I need to go to practice. So when we had that opportunity, I got with our men's team and said, hey, would y'all be willing to take away from what you're doing to train these folks that aren't in this business whole? So through Women in Trades, we solicited for volunteers. We got a group. They kind of went head to head over the few months to go to themselves. And when it came time for the fall conference for the Florida State American Water Works Association, each state has its own region in Florida for the National American Water Works Association. We had 2 teams, and David approved for both teams to go. So for the first time, JEA had a women's competition team in any of their commodities across the business unit that represented JEA at the Florida tournament in November of 2022 to represent the Nationals. We went down, we were the first team, women's team. Florida had never had a women's team, and funny story, while we were sitting there watching the ductile iron tapping team, you had a row of men from another utility sitting back there. They were talking smack, Flo, weren't they? Our boss said if the women beats us, then we got to go find another job. I said, well, you better get your resume ready. So with that, since there were only 2 teams, State said, our 2 teams would go against each other to determine who the winner was. So I can sit here and talk all about it, but we're going to take a look at what it is. The Hydrogen Stereo team is a 2-person team, and it is a head-to-head team where they take a completely disassembled hydrant. They have to reassemble it accurately, totally, and quickly, because that's what you're based on, is your time. And at the end of it, the judges actually test to make sure that that fire hydrant is operational just like it would be out in the field. So without further ado, let's take a look at our women. And for their first time out of the gate, one team did it in 1 minute and 58 seconds, and the second team did it in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. For the first time, for folks that don't do that on a normal basis, that is phenomenal, and I will say we beat every men's team except for the JEA team. So you should have seen the look on their faces and to hear them talking. I mean, you're like, oh man, look at them, because that is that fire hydrant barrel itself, Janelle, it weighs about, that's the we don't use that hydrant, I'll go and let you know. It weighs about close to 100 pounds. Safety don't say anything. So it is a lot of pieces to assemble and put together. So I didn't want to say all of it. 115, Sammy corrected me, 115. So do appreciate that, and I would like to introduce and have each member of the team stand up. Miss Janelle Hatch. Miss Florence Bent. Zasha Delorde. And Laura Bills is our inaugural Women's Hydrogen Historia, coached by Mr. Samuel Howard, the captain, Brandon Barr, and the manager that makes it all together, Mr. Nathan Rouse. JEA's first women's competition team and the state of Florida's first competition team to send to the national event in Toronto, Canada in 2023 last year.
I don't think I can say anything after that excitement. That was absolutely amazing to watch. I can only imagine the adrenaline that you all have going through your body as you're preparing for that. Wow. Okay. So that is amazing. Floored by that. So next up, we have our Women in Trade honors and call to action. The next 2 ladies that are going to come up will complete the 3-person leadership team for Women in Trade. And so you have Dina Slaughter that's going to come up. Dina is the Secretary of Women in Trade, and then you have Crystalline Pruitt, who is the President of Women in Trade. Just a little bit I'm going to share with you just a little bit about these two ladies. So to start with Dina, she's worked at JEA as a weigh clerk in the byproducts group at our Northside Generating Station for the past 10 years. She loves to organize and help with fundraising events. She's the chair of several community health charities, to include events such as talent shows, cookbooks, and the 2023 softball tournament. Dina is also the current VP of membership for JEA's Toastmasters Club, and then again, she's the current secretary for Women in Trades. All right, next up we have Crystalyn Pruitt. She's gonna come up immediately after Dina. Chris has an expansive career over 32 years here at JEA. There are a lot of firsts in this description, okay? So please bear with me. Chris started as the first female apprentice electrical technician from the first co-educational apprenticeship class in 1992. She then promoted to be the first. You all see this progression, right? Okay. She was promoted to be the first female electrical technician at that point. From there, she was promoted to the electrical groups manager and was the first female manager in electrical production, first female senior manager, and held the job title of senior manager of electric production maintenance, and then senior manager of generation support. Chris is alum of Edward Waters University, and I smile because we share that together. She pursued her Bachelor's of Business Administration there, and she is an upcoming graduate of JU's Public Policy Master's Degree Program in 2025. All of this was done, everything that we just talked about, all of these firsts was done throughout a 34-year and counting marriage, and being a mother of 3 children, and then having a grandchild. So we're gonna move next to Dina and then Chris, but that completes the introduction of your Women in Trades leadership team.
Thank you, Raven. So thank you all for being here today. What a beautiful crowd. Women in Trades would like to highlight some of our members who advocate for equity, diversity, and inclusion here at JEA. Each of these phenomenal women were nominated by Women in Trade Leadership based on their hard work and determination in their career fields and their efforts in supporting women in trades. So first up, we have Amanda Breen. So Amanda has worked here for 5.5 years, and she started as a JEA OSA temp and transitioned to permanent OSA, which is an office support associate. And now she's a wastewater operator maintainer trainee. Her success shows that you can do many field treks within JEA, and you're not limited in what you can do at this company. So when we asked Amanda, what would she tell a young lady who's coming into the working world? Her advice, what I would tell any young lady that is considering a career in a male-dominated industry to not let that fact of it being male-dominated deter her from paving a path in that field. Amanda, thank you so much for your dedication and hard work. Up next, we have Audrey Burrow. And Audrey is an active member on our communications committee, and she's also a mentor to a future generation of successful young women through our Generation Wild Partnership program. She has been at JEA for 12 years, starting as an assistant process chemistry technician, and is currently a process chemistry technician that works at different locations here at JEA. Audrey is fearless and always open to taking on new challenges and opportunities, including serving as one of the first safety advocates for Northside in 2021, which is where I had the pleasure of really getting to know Audrey and her bright personality. Audrey, thank you so much for your help and your support. Up next, we have Maria Cabral. And for those of you who don't know, we are two peas in a pod. And it will never change no matter how hard we shake it. So Maria has put forth great efforts by volunteering her time to support women in trades. And when I tell you whatever I sign up for, she's got my back, even when she does not want to do it. Because that's what we're here for. We support each other. She has worked at JEA for 18 years as a weigh clerk, and prior to her career at JEA, she worked for 20 years at the Simmons Mattress Manufacturing Facility in New Jersey, and worked her way up from assembling heavy-duty mattress pieces to assistant supervisor. When asked what motivates her to take on the challenge, she said that she liked the challenge of applying for a job in an industry that employs more men than women. As a woman, we all have the ability and capacity to do anything we put our minds to. Maria, thank you so much for your support and for mentoring me. I appreciate you. Next, we have Janelle Hatch. She started her career at JEA as a combustion turbine operator 14 years ago. She is a proud member of JEA's first hydrant hysteria team and a key element in leading our ladies to nationals this summer. Janelle is a member of several women in trades committees, including membership, community engagement, and education programs. On behalf of Women in Trades, we appreciate your dedication, your wonderful smile, and time volunteered toward helping the growth and support to this group. Today, she is a proud power plant operator who loves to sew, travel, and play pool in her free time. Thank you so much, Janelle, for being a part of Women in Trades. And last but not least, we have Miss Sandra Hughes. Sandra started her career 12 years ago as a meter reader, where she had to walk up to 14 miles a day, and she absolutely loved it. With her mindset on success, Sandra has grown into her current role as a senior meter specialist. When she's not riding her motorcycle, she's working hard to make sure that women are respected and included by being a team leader. When asked what Women's History Month means to her, she says, "Women don't get recognized in general for all that they do, so this month is great for that," and I agree. Thank you so much, Sandra. We appreciate all that you do. These women in trades are recognized today for their success in many different trade fields. Their bravery and determination are opening doors for other women to be afforded future opportunities at JEA. Please give all 5 of our wonderful ladies a round of applause. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Again, I'm Chris Pruitt. And so today we're going to celebrate women who advocate for equity, diversity, and inclusion. And what an apropos theme to highlight the first Women in Trades Women History Month event. The Women in Trades Employee Resource Group was formed to bring traditionally excluded individuals into processes, activities, decision-making, and policy-making in a way that shares power and ensures equal access to opportunities and resources. That's a really lofty goal. JEA's DEI ingenuities, Women in Trades initiatives, and the Mayor's Office strategies are great on paper, but they can only come to fruition due to individual contributions from people, male or female, that have a passion and drive to do the work. We can never doubt the ability of a small group of thoughtful, committed people to bring about change. That means you must get involved. So, this is my call to action. Get active. Join us in Women in Trade. Just email our mailbox, womenintrade.com, at JEA.com. Join JEA's DEI Council. Get involved in the Mayor's Commission on the Status of Women, great organization. And find another resource or affinity group that sparks your passion. And if you can't find one, start one. It all takes individuals to get involved. So if you need an example of how getting active can make a difference, Flo Bitt and I would really like to thank the individual contributions of Raven Simmons for spearheading this event. When I mentioned kind of flippantly that we wanted to do something, and she just grabbed it and took off. Excellent event, and I saw all the hard work, and I much appreciate it because I didn't have to do it. Also, thanks to Dina, she just filled all the spots that needed to be filled. I mean, when we needed something, she just jumped right in, and she was that communication hub between everybody, and I really appreciate all the work Dina did for this. Thanks to the Women in Trades volunteers who stuffed bags and worked various areas of the event, and thanks to the event planning team, the media group, and all the different JEA departments that came together today to make this a success. There were so many hands that made this light work, and I sincerely thank you all, and a special thanks to the mayor and her team for taking the time to get involved. Thank you all for coming, and I look forward to seeing you at the next Women in Trades event.
All right, our Chief HR Officer is coming up next. There you go.
Thank
got it.
you.
It's all about you.
Hey now. Can each of the women that were just touched and mentioned here and have taken part, can all of you stand? Miss Jackie? All of you, Sasha? Come on, stand up, stand up, stand up. All right. Yes. Yes. Thank you. What an impressive group. What an impressive group. You lead from the front, and this group does that. 3 years ago, we had a little bitty idea, didn't know if it was really going to spark, and look at what it's become. And it's going to continue to grow. I am proud of each of them. What that group represents is 175 years of service to this community and to this company. That's pretty powerful. We are committed to better representing women in trade and throughout all levels of JEA. And you all help us do that through your daily work, through your leadership, through your community engagement. And we celebrate you. You help us reach these goals, each interaction you have with our customers, with each other, in your day-to-day work. I know a number of you are involved with our Gen W exercise, and what that is we're looking at developing relationships with high school age young ladies to teach them about trades, because here at JEA, we have a high school kind of track, we have a college track, and we need people, we need women to help us fulfill those objectives. We are very skilled, and so therefore you're going to take training. So it's not going to be an easy road. What you heard here were years of service, not weeks, but it is a heck of a career. We help our community, but we also help each other raise families. As we celebrate Women's History Month, I want us to think about that engagement, because that's what helps our talent pipeline. We recruit constantly. Our age is a little older than most organizations, and so retirements play a heavy part in what we need to do. So our pipeline must start a little earlier than others, and this group helps us resolve that. Women in the utility industry, it's not very common, but it is growing. And I have learned a man will try something when he's 50% sure he can do it. A woman may not have that as a push. This group lights the way, and the light has been lit. I appreciate all that you all do in your daily roles, and all of you go above and beyond those roles to help fulfill. I also want to mention the men here that support our women. It's not easy every day, but each of these women can point to someone, a man, that has helped out along the way. I'm proud of them also. Yeah, you. We are making sure that we have processes that are in place to support work-life balance for women and all employees. Working through the unions, we work to accommodate flexible schedules, also meeting the needs of folk that have business drivers, that have families. Our relationship with our unions, I believe, has gotten very good. I can count on each of them to tell me what they think, tell me what they're feeling, and we have a great discourse, and I want to thank them for their participation and support of women in trade. And I just want to say how proud I am of this group. You all give me a lift. I know sometimes we struggle, but in terms of our efforts, in terms of that film, because I'm not lifting anything that looks like that. I'm not screwing anything on it looks like that. And they got it done. And so thanks for all of those efforts. And again, I couldn't be more proud to be teammates with that team. Jay is going to come up and introduce our esteemed guests, but I also wanted to say she lights a light, being the first. So thank you, Jay.
Good morning. So I say this a lot when I get up. The communications folks gave me talking points, what I'm supposed to say. One of the things that as I was sitting here and each person was getting introduced, I feel like I should talk about each one of you. So I just, instead of doing that so that you have time to speak, I just want to say thank you for the work that you all have done and the women in trades. And not only the women in trades, the organization, but the fact that you are women in trades and that you are helping us improve lives and build community, which is what we're all about every day. We are foundational to this community. And when you do your jobs well, everyone else can do their jobs well. And I think it's important for us to remember that and to understand the role of women and how we can help support the role of women in our organization. And David, a couple of people have hit on this, but we have at First Coast High School, we have a craft academy, and I didn't realize this until I got to talk to see. The talking points are helpful. 30% of the students in our electric class out there are female, and nearly 46% in the water class are female. That's how we build the pipeline and how we build options and flexibility for people in the future. It's our job to provide reliable services every day, and the men and women that work here are focused on that, and they do that every day. This is also the first time I've had a big group of people in the room where I can say this, and you might believe it even more now, but we're not for sale. We're working to be the best utility in the nation, and the things that you all are doing are helping us to do that. And Mayor Deegan is also helping us to do that, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to introduce her. And David, you're right, she's shining a light for us, for the community. I have a daughter that doesn't live here, has not ever lived here, but watches what happens here because we're here she's proud and excited that Mayor Deegan is the mayor of Jacksonville. I had the opportunity during the storms, the hurricanes last year. Laura Shepus's daughter came to one of the press conferences, and I saw her in the back of the room, and I called her over and got to introduce her to Mayor Deegan. And this is a high school student who was sort of in awe of the opportunity to meet the mayor. First female mayor of Jacksonville who has shown support for the community in everything she's done, and has shown support for JEA in everything she's done. So thank you very much for being here. And Mayor Deegan, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jay. Such a pleasure to work with you, always. And thank you so much for allowing me to be with you today. I've got to tell you, I always, I've talked to a lot of women's history groups this month, and what I always say is it's really, really important to get comfortable being uncomfortable. But I got to tell you, Jackie, when you were showing that film, I think I broke out in a sweat watching those ladies. So I might need to borrow them to bring them over to City Hall for a little bit. But thank you for all that all of you do. My goodness, how impressive. Right now there is a 5-year-old girl in a VPK classroom, and she's learning to hold a pencil and learning to spell, to write her name, to add and subtract, to tie her shoes. Her parents tell her all the time, you can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to do. Her future is as wide open and bright today as any day in the history of our nation. And that's because of the women who are here today. You are setting the example. Make no mistake, her future path is being paved by you in the present. I'm grateful to JEA for putting this event together, celebrating women in trade. While we gather here to celebrate the achievements and advancement of women and advancement that women have made in trade, we all know there are industries where women are not yet well represented. The fact is that most skilled trade jobs are still held by men. Although women had been performing manual labor work in construction and factories as far back as the 19th century, it was not until the Industrial Revolution and then later in World War II that they made deep inroads into industrial trades. The iconic poster of Rosie the Riveter, with her sleeves rolled up, flexing her biceps, and proclaiming, "We can do it," inspired women to seek employment in trades. From that starting point to today, women now represent little more than 10% of the construction trade workers in the U.S. So I want to point out, given what we've heard today, look how revolutionary JEA has been. Look at the numbers here compared to the national average. That deserves a round of applause. That's pretty amazing. We are making progress. During the last 5 years, the number of tradeswomen has increased by almost 1/3. In City Hall, we have a majority woman staff in the mayor's office.
Yeah.
That is not by mistake. By the way, Nina Sickler is serving as the first woman to serve as Director of Public Works, and just absolutely amazing. Wanyoni Kendrick is our first Chief Information Officer, and boy, I'll tell you what, she has whipped that IT department into shape and is doing great things for Jacksonville. So I'm proud, and I see our first property appraiser, who also happens to be a woman, sitting in the front row. We're finally getting there, folks, where women are also looking in the mirror like men do and seeing a president, seeing a mayor, seeing a property appraiser, seeing somebody who works in trades when that's something nobody ever used to do. These are really important things. And events like this today, I really think, help to crystallize all of us toward that vision. So important. We are also instituting changes in our retention and promoting processes at City Hall, and we are creating a Ladders to Leadership training program to help us achieve more gender parity at upper levels in COJ's departmental management. Throughout history, women have been the architects of change, the champions of progress, while often being the unsung heroes that shape the world. This month serves as a reminder of the countless women who have blazed trails and shattered glass ceilings to leave an indelible mark on the arc of human history. From the suffragettes who fought for the right to vote, and I gotta tell you a little aside here. I was at the White House, was it yesterday? Day before yesterday, for a Women's History event where the president signed a sweeping piece of a sweeping executive order which will invest in women's health in a way that has not been done before. Women have really been underrepresented when it comes to studies, when it comes to health studies. But as I was walking in, and I wore my white suit for suffragettes, right? I'm walking in, there's this really tall, gorgeous woman behind me, also wearing a white suit. And there was a woman next to me, a representative from Alabama named Wanda. And she turns around and to shake this woman's hand, and she says, "Hi, my name's Wanda." And she says, "You're Wanda, I'm Wonder." It was Wonder Woman, y'all. It was Linda Carter. Wonder Woman. So, you know, I'm going to take that as a sign. So anyway, I digress, but it made me think of the suffragettes who fought for the right to vote, also to the activists who continue to advocate for gender equality today. Their legacies inspire us to strive for a more just and equitable future. Our celebration of Women's History Month must also be a call to action for all of us. We must confront the systemic barriers that continue to hold women back. We can no longer tolerate the fact that women are making dimes on the dollar for doing the same work as their male counterparts, or that if that woman happens to be Black or Hispanic, they earn even less. This is unacceptable, and I am going to do everything in my power to make sure that in the city of Jacksonville, such wage disparities are a thing of the past. The fact that gender inequities persist in 2024 is something that ought to concern each and every one of us. And I do appreciate the male champions in this room today. I know sometimes women's events can sort of sound like we're beating up on men, but we're really not. We appreciate you, we love you, and we truly do love you and appreciate your support. But we have to work, whether we're working as business leaders or leaders as government servants, we have to all work together for this progress. We have to work tirelessly to ensure that every woman has the opportunity to fulfill her potential free of discrimination and oppression. So let us use this month not only to honor the achievements of women past and present, but also to recommit ourselves to the ongoing struggle for gender equality. Together, let us build a world where every 5-year-old girl has the chance to grow into a woman who can indeed be anything she wants to be and do anything she wants to do, and learn as much as she can and earn as much as her talents allow her to, and love whomever she chooses and never have to worry about losing her rights. So, to that end, I would like to declare March as Women's History Month in Jacksonville, and I'd like to read a proclamation to that effect. Whereas, in 1987, the U.S. Congress declared March as Women's History Month in special recognition of inspiring women who have been at the forefront of building a fairer, more just society. And whereas, from a Jacksonville native who was instrumental in passing the 19th Amendment to the women leaders who launched a national city planning movement by creating the funding for Jacksonville's first city plan, women have led the way in Jacksonville since its earliest days. And whereas, through leadership, innovation, and collaboration, generations of women in Jacksonville and beyond have made their mark as women in trade, as well as women in engineering, technology, business, government, medicine, arts, culture, and more. And whereas the City of Jacksonville is proud to join JEA in celebrating Women's History Month and support the 2024 theme, Women Who Advocate for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, which honors leaders who believe we need to ensure representation in every industry while eliminating bias and discrimination. And whereas this Women's History Month, we recognize the long, storied, and diverse history of our foremothers and their victories, and we commit ourselves to building a city and a world that gives all women and girls the opportunity to reach every one of their dreams and goals. Now, therefore, I, Donna Deegan, by virtue of authority vested in me as Mayor of Jacksonville, do hereby proclaim March 2024 as Women's History Month in Jacksonville and encourage all citizens to celebrate the women who have positively affected their lives in our community. And I want to thank you for being some of those women here today. Thank you for having me so much.